Hi there, welcome to the Happy Chicken Coop YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be talking about chickens and cold or freezing temperatures. We've touched on it before, but this is going to be a little bit of a twist, different scope. Before we get into that, please be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. That's how we continue to grow our following and be able to provide great content for you all. More subscribers equals more likes, equals more clicks, and more ability to put out more professional content and higher quality content. Also, be sure to subscribe to our website, the Happy Chicken Coop, using the link in the description below. If you subscribe using that link, you'll receive a free ebook on 10 best egg-laying chickens and a deep, in-depth breakdown of each breed and how to care for them and how to make sure they lay lots of eggs. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, caring for your chickens in the wintertime is perhaps one of the most important times to care for your hens. If you're new to raising chickens, you'll likely have questions about chickens and cold or freezing temperatures, how you go about this, and even if you've been raising chickens for a while, there's always an opportunity to learn something new. Today, I'm going to answer a few common questions about cold temperatures and how it impacts your flock. So, can chickens freeze to death? This question everyone asks has a simple answer. Yes, chickens can freeze to death, but the main reason it happens are that either they aren't in good health and you didn't know it, or that their coop is not prepared for the winter. If you prepare their coop and keep them in good health, they should not freeze just because of the cold. Some people live in Alaska, northern Canada, that don't use electric heat and never lose a chicken due to cold, and it gets freezing there. If you can see or hear wild birds in the area where you live and they don't freeze, then neither would the chickens, because they are larger and have a lot more protection with their double layers of feathers. So you need to make sure their coop is prepared for the winter. Also, if you find one of your chickens seem to be sick while it is cold, they are for certain weaker and they need a little extra tender love and care, little TLC, to keep their health from decreasing when it's cold outside. You should put your compromised chicken in a crate in a part of your house or in a garage where it's warmer. That will keep her from using so much of her energy to keep warm. And then, of course, you can transfer her back to the coop carefully. If you're just thinking about preparing your coop for the winter, you'll need to improvise quickly. So, can chickens stay outside in the winter? Yes, they can. And most of them like it a lot, especially the cold hardy breeds. Chickens are created to regulate their body's temperature with their undercoat and feathers, and they increase food intake during cold weather. Sometimes, though, during extreme weather conditions, they might need shelter during the day. This should be taken into consideration when high freezing winds and wet freezing conditions are there and they're present. You can look for some signs to see if the cold weather is stressing your chickens. A quick sign or some symptoms that chickens will give off of being cold is when they huddle into one corner or puff up their feathers to trap body heat. Many times they'll have one foot up as close as they can to their belly feathers, trying to get it warm while standing on one leg. If you see this, plan quickly to address the cold conditions. So next question, are chickens okay in freezing temperatures? Yes, they honestly are much better in cold temperatures than they are heat tolerant. Some breeds of chickens are better in cold climates than others. If you're in a location where there'll be a lot of snow, you'll want to make sure to get the breed that can handle the colder weather better. If you wonder how cold is too cold for your chickens, we did a video earlier this year. I'll link to that one in the description. Chickens will also tuck their head underneath their wing while sleeping, which will also help them to retain the heat they would lose through their comb. Chickens can also struggle with drastic climate changes, but they shouldn't get stressed out if they're not already sick. You can put salve or petroleum jelly on their wattles and combs to keep them from freezing if you're that concerned. So next question, can you keep chickens warm in the winter without electricity? I mentioned before, if you hear wild birds around and it's freezing temperatures, then there's a good chance that your chickens will be fine. But to answer this question, yes, you can keep the chickens warm in the winter without electricity. You just got to make sure your chicken coop is winterized. Make sure there's no holes that a draft can get in the coop. If you find any, cover them up. Pay special attention to the north and west sides of the coop. If you have them all sealed up, it will help retain the heat better. Many people are concerned about the actual temperature, but drafty and windy locations are the main concern. A chicken has a resting heartbeat of over 300 beats a minute, and its normal body temperature is between 104 and 110 degrees Fahrenheit. This gives them a high metabolism that helps them stay warm in the winter. That's why If you check the winter in the coop with a thermometer overnight, you'll find that it has stayed in the 30 to 40 degree range the whole night, and this is from their combined heat working together. You also need to make sure the coop has ventilation so the ammonia gas doesn't build up from their poop, causing damage to their lungs. The ventilation helps cut down the moisture from the poop. Otherwise, that moisture could cause the chicken combs and wattles to freeze by condensing on them. Ventilation locations need to be in the roof of the coop or gable ends and nowhere near the roost area or nesting boxes where it would cause a draft and make them get cold. Two other things that can affect the moisture in the coop are if the bedding isn't dry, and last is if you have water in the coop at night, it causes a lot of moisture and can cause spillover and freezing conditions. All of the humidity and moisture increases the risk of unhealthy conditions that can lead to respiratory ailments and mold-related illnesses. Can chickens survive without a heat lamp? Yes, they can. They don't need the extra heat because they have their own heater, their feathers. They have two different types of feathers: the contour feathers, the firm ones on the outside, and the downy feathers, which are the soft and fluffy ones on the inside. The downy feathers are the ones closest to the skin, and they trap that air and keep them warm. If there is a draft, that cool air will go in the space where their feathers are, keeping them warm. Replace the warm air with a cold air and instead make them chilled. That is why you need to make sure there's no drafts in the coop. If you insist on using a heat lamp, ensure you secure it several feet away from a flammable material. Never hang it from the cord due to the risk of getting bumped by your chickens. Is it okay for your chickens to be out in the rain or snow? They may or may not go out in the rain or snow, but it all depends on them. My flock tends to enjoy the worst of weather. Sometime by my own nudging, they will get forced back into the coop. Because of their feathers though, they won't get wet at first rain, as it takes a while for their water repellent feathers to allow the rain to seep through. For chickens, the rain provides great opportunities to forage and eat insects and worms that appear depending on soil and landscape type. Well, that's going to do it for us here. Thanks again for tuning in. If you find our content interesting, if you learn something new each time you tune in, please be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. That's how we continue to grow our following. More subscribers equals more likes, which means we can continue to put out more professional content for you all. With that, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.